In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 3 different ways to set up an LLC in Pennsylvania. But more important than that, I'm going to share crucial information that's going to help keep your new business safe and protected. So if you're not familiar with terms such as commingling funds, piercing the corporate veil, or registered agent, don't worry, I will let you know what they all mean, and they are so important. You're going to understand how they're going to impact your LLC by the end of this video. The first way to start your Pennsylvania LLC is to go to the Pennsylvania Secretary of State website. You can find a link for the state site and any resources mentioned in the description below. Once you create an account, you can go through the steps here to get your LLC set up. As you'd expect, the state website is not the prettiest or the easiest thing to navigate, but there are no fees involved except for the $125 state filing fee as of 2022, and there's just no way around that fee. You're gonna have to pay that whether you go through the state or an online legal tool or through an attorney. The pros of using a state site are that there are no markups or upsells. The downside is that they're not laid out well, and that makes the registration process way more confusing than it needs to be. One of the other downsides of the state site is that they do not help you keep your LLC compliant, because the state site lacks the ability to remind you of important updates and renewal reminders. And I'll explain this further, but first, let's talk about what an LLC is so that you understand how to maintain it properly. Some people think that there's a tax advantage to having an LLC over a sole proprietorship, but there's actually not. The advantage of an LLC is in the name itself. It helps to limit your liability. So imagine your business, all of your assets, and that could be the office, computers, your business accounts, etc. Now on the personal side, you might have a home, a vehicle, a personal bank account. So what an LLC does is it draws a line of division between those two asset classes. And that division is something called the corporate veil. So if somebody sues your business, they can try to come after your business assets, but the LLC and the corporate veil protect your personal assets, so they can't come after your personal home or your bank account, for instance. And that is why an LLC is so important. Now, earlier I mentioned something called piercing the corporate veil. What this legal jargon means is if your business is sued, the attorney suing your business is going to try to find cracks in your LLC. And if they can find a crack, they can pierce the corporate veil. When this happens, they can come after your business and personal assets. So that is why it is so important that you not only set up an LLC, but you maintain it so that there are no cracks. Now I'd like to explain why the state site isn't so great for maintaining your LLC. And I'm going to give you 3 examples. A great service for setting up your LLC is a company called InkFile. You'll find a link in the description below that will take you to their site. And we really appreciate when you use that link because it helps support the YouTube channel. The reason I like InkFile is that they have packages starting at $0 plus the state fee. So it's that same $125 state fee plus a $6 electronic filing fee, but the package fee starts at $0. And one of the perks of this package is that you get a free registered agent service for a year. And this is the first reason why I prefer this site over the state site. So now let's just dive into what a registered agent is. Every LLC is required to have a registered agent, which is sometimes called a resident agent, statutory agent, or agent for service of process. The registered agent must have a physical address in the state your LLC is set up, and this person helps you with important communication and documentation, such as franchise tax forms, notices of litigation, tax and legal correspondence, and required annual report forms. Basically, the registered agent helps keep your LLC in compliance. Now, if you go through the state website, they just ask for the name and address of your registered agent without much context. If you go through InkFile, that service is free for the first year, and it's $119 annually after that, and you're free to change or drop the registered agent service at any time. Now, another reason I like InkFile is that the state website does not help you with the federal aspects of your business. So here's a good example of this. Your LLC is set up through your state, but an EIN business tax number is set up through the IRS. So you can think of your EIN as a social security number used to identify your business for tax purposes. So when you get set up through the state website, they do not help you with setting up an EIN number, which is actually pretty confusing if you've never done it before. In the middle tier package with InkFile, they will set up your EIN for you. I'll also include a link in the description below if you want to do your EIN setup by yourself on the IRS website. Now, I also want to highlight that they will set you up with a business bank account. This is really important to do from the beginning, and here's why. Not only does it make bookkeeping and accounting just so much easier for your business, but you should also know if you run your business through your personal checking account, you are commingling funds. And that's because you have personal cash flow and business cash flow happening in the same account. And this can create a crack in your LLC, which could lead to an attorney piercing the corporate veil and then coming after your business and personal assets. So InkFile takes these things into consideration where the state site just sets up your LLC. The nice thing with InkFile is that your dashboard helps you not only set up your LLC, but to maintain it and keep compliant with annual reports or forms that need to be filed as well. Now, the last thing I want to discuss with you is if you should hire an attorney. And many people are fine just going through the state site or an online tool to get started. But if you have a complex business with multiple partners, or you're going to be doing business in an area outside of the state, you might want to consider an attorney. Another thing to consider is if you're already doing business and you are making over $40,000 of net income, you might want to consider an S Corp. Many times businesses start out as an LLC, but then as the revenues grow, they switch to an S Corp for added tax advantages. In the description below, I have a list of resources for you, including a really good attorney service that offers free consults if you're already making a good income in your business and you have a complex situation. On the screen here, you will see a video that goes further into the InkFile dashboard and what it looks like after purchase. Again, thank you so much for using the links in the description below, and I'll catch you on the next video.